Hello there, and welcome back to Star Wars Legion. And we're so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Galactic Republic, and we're going to talk about what it takes to get started in the game of Star Wars Legion with Galactic Republics. So today, we're going to be looking at what to buy first if you want to play Galactic Republic on a budget. Now, for me, there's a budget of three levels. There's the $200 entry budget, and then there's the $250, and then the $300. And that's kind of what you're going to get in this videos, what to buy in that range. Now, this all depends on a few little things that need to come together and make this budget work. Now, first thing I always tell anybody to buy in the first of the game is to buy a core set. A core set is so important to what you're buying because the core set actually gets you into the game. It gives you the rules, it gives you the dice, it gives you the cards that you need, it gives you these beautiful little bunkers, it gives you these little bit of movement tools, and then your range weapons. And if you're buying for Gar, your core set is going to get you 2 Phase 1 units, 1 Bark Speeder, and then Commander is going to be Obi-Wan. Now, obviously you're buying this, you're going to get 2 different factions. So this is why I say if you want to keep this on a really good budget, what you're going to do is try to split the price with a friend. So you're going to buy 2 boxes, and they're going to take the droids and you're going to take the Grand Republic army. And so that puts you at $120 for 4 Phase 1s, 2 Barks, and a leader. So now this gives you about, over 500 points, just over 500 points. So you can play a scrimmage game right away. Now, you could bump it up to get it up to 800 pretty quick. You only have 1 leader, and the 1 leader gets kind of boring. So usually my second recommendation is always a leader. So if you're buying 2 box sets, the next thing is to buy is a leader of some sort. And the other reason I tell you that to buy a leader in something is they're usually the cheapest thing to buy. So in this case, it's actually an operative. Now, if I was making this a year and a half ago before the point adjustment and stuff, and this would have been Rex. And Rex would have been my number 2 thing that you should have bought because he gives you a cheap leader that you can use. But in this case, it is going to be Padme. Now, Padme comes with this wonderfully sculpted Padme. I've seen people redo her a bit better, but it comes with all these cards, which are great. Padme's actually a very good not leader, I should say. She's a very good operative. She's good for token sharing. She is pretty competitive, and for $19 it doesn't make your budget go up a lot. So if you split it 2 core sets with a friend, now you're sitting at $140, and you've got Padme, which is an operative, and a pretty decent buying thing. So what do you buy next is the real question. Well, in this case, I'm saying Anakin Skywalker. He's a lot of fun to play with. Sometimes fun conquers out practicality because you already have a leader, but now you got another leader. He's just really fun, and he's cheap. And so we're now at $160. So we're still under that 200 mark, and we've got now 2 different styles of armies we can play because we got 2 different leaders. The leaders are really key in forming your armies. He comes in 2 different sculpts, and he gets all these cards, including a flaw card, which is a new mechanic he adds into it. And so it's really not too bad at $160. So then you say, what do I buy next? Well, for me, it's the Republic Specialty Pack. Not just because it's a great model. This model right here is the whole reason I bought it for. Look at that little thing there. That's just awesome. The commander, you see it all the time in the show. And but it also gives you another unit card. So you can turn these guys into just Phase 1s if you change the weapons out. You got a medic, you get a mechanic, you get an officer, communication officer, but you get that extra card, Phase 1 card. So now you can have 3 Phase 1s if you just change them around with the ones you already have, because each of the other ones you have 1 extra one. It makes 4. You can throw it in, put your commander there with a little guy, and you can just use them as a unit and blank unit. But also it allows you to have that cheap commander, because not only does it come as that, it comes a commander, and it gives you some new command cards. Air support, which is a really good one. Attack of the Clones. And so you've got a commander and you have another phase 1 unit out of this. It's really a good way to start on a budget. And so that puts us up to 40, 60, 90. That's just under $200. And then, so the next thing I think you need to buy, if on a budget and you're going to be doing this, I would say the next thing we can buy would be phase 2s. Now, phase 2s aren't that much different than phase 1s, but they got better leadership, better courage value, and they got a few little things, and they're 10 points more expensive, and they got a couple different weapon options. They're a lot like phase 1s, but I think it's worth having it. You can go a little more with your core. You get different core. It is $49, so that puts us at the $220 mark. So we're over that $200 budget, but we're not too far into it. And so that is phase 1s. Now you notice I didn't recommend ARC Troopers. ARC Troopers are wonderful to paint, but point-wise and money-wise, they're not worth it at this point in the game right now. They might come back, and they might be, because who doesn't want 5s and Echo? They're great, and so you're probably going to buy them. But if you're working on a budget, it's not the first thing you're going to buy. Now, if you happen to be playing these guys and Rebels, there's a few other things that could come in handy. Now, my next thing that gets over $220, and the next thing I say is buy another leader. Yoda, not only does he come with 2 scopes, he actually comes with 2 models. You can do 2 models with Yoda, and he's got some great cards. He also has a Chewbacca card, so if you're playing Rebels already, you can use your Chewbacca as a leader in the Gar now. And so it's got a lot of great playability and affordability. And as I said, that hits you at that 250 mark. Now, this isn't going to bring you to 300, but it'll bring you just under $300. Another dual faction. This is the Wookiee Warriors, and they're a real good buy at 300 because one of the things they offer that is really good for the Gar is they actually offer you some more regular cards here. And another, they offer you, if you're playing Rebels, they offer you 2 Rebel cards, ways of using the Wookiees, but they also offer you a leader card, a Wookiee Chieftain card if you're playing Gar. And so there's different ways of sculpting them. It comes with 6 models. And so buying one of them, you can make 2 units if you don't want to use any heavies, or you can add in the heavies and also have in your leader. Really, if you really want to make the most out of these, you need to buy 2 boxes of these. And so that puts you up to the $300 mark. And buying 2 boxes of these gives you 2 full units and a Wookiee Chieftain and all the heavies. And so you could even squeeze 3 units out if you're not going to be putting heavies in all of them. And so really, 2 boxes is the way to go on that one. And so if we go back and take a look at everything that I say in order, once again, I think you need to buy 2 starter sets. They are really handy. And if you can, split them with somebody, because that keeps your price down. You then need to buy, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, so the operative, Padme, I think she's really useful. And then Anakin Skywalker, because he's fun to play, and why not have another leader? And then this is really useful. The Legion Specialty Pack gives you a lot of options to way to use them in different ways to plan them. Plus, it gives you another Phase 1 unit card. And then the Phase 2s, which will give you a little bit more bang for your buck. And then the Yoda, 2 great sculpts. I really like the fact that it comes with 2 sculpts and a Chewie card. So if you have a Chewie from Rebels, and maybe you don't have a Chewie for Rebels and you buy this, and then you buy your Wookiees next with the Rebels, you already have half the stuff you need in your Rebels unit if you're going that way. And so it's really easy if you're playing Gar to be Gar Rebels, because there's some crossover. There are some crossover for Gar and Imperials as well too. But there's the Wookiee crossover is pretty strong here between Gar and Rebels. And so now if you were looking for one last thing and you're like, money's not the option and I really want to add to my sets and I really want to make it so that I can just have fun, there are two options that I would say would be the next thing I would look at. One is the Redicat NAS Fluttercraft. It's a lot of fun. It's just fun to play, dropping bombs all over the place and frustrating people. It's really a glass cannon though, because it is not strong in any way, and it does not hold up to any real lots of shots. It's literally get in, drop bombs, get out. I have not used it as a gunning vehicle yet. There is a rear arc gun, but I have not used it that way yet. But that's just me. I have not used it that way. So that is one thing you can add. The other things, if you want to add a little bit more, there is the ATRT. There is also, these are also in the Rebel forces. I really wish they would have just made on this one Rebel and this one together, and then just gave you both cards like they did with the Wookiees, and then two different figures. I think that would have went further in playability and just cost down the road for everybody. And that would have been the way I would have done it to save people. But hey, they want you to buy their plastic, and that's a big part of it. They want you to be purchasing their plastic. Now, I was going to show you one other thing, and before we go, I just gotta find it. And I think it's a probably must buy for most people. The only thing is I just bought it myself. And so it was the last item that I ever bought before I got every single thing. I got every unit out there now. And the last one I bought out of all the units, and I can't even find it. Well, I'll just tell you, it's the Saber Tank. So the Saber Tank is the last thing I bought, but it is a fairly cool unit and it's well worth buying. And so the reality is, Gar is not in the best place right now. It's fun to play, but they nerfed a lot of it. And the nerfing wasn't the bad thing. The nerfing, I think, worked and made the rules better and everything more equal. But when they nerfed it, they also bumped all the points up. So I think if you play Gar on the original points with the nerfs, I think they're a bit more competitive. And so that's just my opinion. And I would see then maybe Rex being playable again. And I think that would be a lot of fun to do it that way. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Thank you. And if you've got this far, why don't you like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and you'll get entered into one of our draws. Thank you guys, and see you next time.